G'day guys, welcome back to the channel and our round 17 preview. This has been an absolute nightmare to get this video out, so I do apologize. I did try to get this out last night. I actually tried to get it out on the Wednesday night as well, but just life got in the way, work, all that kind of stuff. The traffic getting home in Melbourne is absolute. You guys know that. The ones that have been watching anyway know that I've recently moved to Melbourne from Darwin, and the traffic is just outrageous. Like it is it when it rains here, people just forget how to drive. Like obviously in Darwin we get monsoonal type rain. We still manage to get there. In Melbourne, it's just like nah, I'm not driving. They just sit there. It'd be sprinkling or whatever. Who cares? But we're gonna do it now. All right. And I've also tried to get this recorded before, and Supercoach just crashed midway through. So I'm sitting here waiting for it to load. Nightmare. So what we're going to do is it's going to be a little bit of a shorter video because I want to watch the footy tonight because the dogs are playing. They are my team. So we're still going to do our regular segments. We're not going to rush it too bad. I still want to give you guys some value to help your teams, and that's what we're going to do. So strap in, round 17 preview. So firstly, I just want to say thank you as well, of course, for all the comments, all the likes, all the love. It's been great, and I love being able to interact with you guys. It feels like I was going to say it feels like only yesterday or last week that we got to 100 subs, but it actually was only last week. But we're nearly 200. We are rolling here at Nemo Supercoach. So if you haven't subbed yet, please sub. It definitely helps out. It's great, and I love being able to interact with you guys. It's really really cool, and there's going to be an opportunity for us to interact a little bit more, and it's much easier for me to answer your questions sort of in real time rather than typing it while I'm sort of rushing around at work or whatever during the day. And Sunday 10 a.m. I'm doing another live stream. So Sunday 10 a.m. is going to be our regular time slot. So me and Dibble Supercoach did one last week. We debuted 10 a.m. Sunday, and that's going to be a regular thing. So you can catch me and Dibbles 10 a.m. every Sunday. Apart from this one, I'm still going to be there, but Dibbles ain't going to be joining me. So I need you guys to be there, so I'm not just sitting there on my own. But Dibbles is off on a boys trip, so um, yeah, he's living his best life. My invite must have got lost in the mail, I suppose, Dibbles. But yeah, I'll hold down the fort in the meantime. So grab your coffee, grab your breakfast, and come kick back, and we'll talk all things Supercoach. There should be a lot of sort of news by then, and we'll sort of be either dreading the rest of the Sunday or really looking forward to some big scores with all of our players back. So let's get stuck in. Let's get stuck into the round 17 preview. First round coming off the buys. I feel like we've had buys for so long this season, and now we've got 8 rounds. The home stretch, the run home. Let's get stuck in. So last week I scored 2,100. If you didn't catch my review, I kind of knew that I was going to regress, but at least we kept our top 500 rank, 463. I think that's a pretty decent position to be in. I've got enough trades to be able to do what I need to do. I feel like I had some cash in the bank. My team really wasn't set up well for that round, but I knew that and it was kind of on purpose. I wanted to make up as much ground as I could in the other rounds and then just hold on that last round. And I think I did that. I only dropped 122 spots. So not too shabby. Let's get stuck in. I'm not going to go through the teams because you guys would have seen the teams. They came out yesterday. There's no point me going through the teams and just reading off the website. You guys know, you guys are smart enough to do that yourself. Let's have a look at the Bubble Boys, right? So this week I think there's two really clear sort of ones that are just jumping off the page, and if you haven't got them and you need to downgrade and you want to bring in midfielders, these two are you guys. So Joel Fitzgerald and Marcus Herbert. So I think they're really great options. The one thing I was worried about was Joel Fitzgerald's job security, but with so many changes coming in and out of the Melbourne team and him not being one of them has filled me with a lot of confidence for the rest of the season. So I'd be very confident having him as cover if he was the only one I had. But I've got Herbert as well, as you guys probably know. If I had to pick between the two, I would probably pick Herbert just because he plays the West Coast. They're probably going to be scored against a lot. He takes kick-ins. He just has a really, really good role. Fitzgerald seems to get affected by having time on ground. I think if that changes and he gets more responsibility through that midfield, I think he'll probably score better than Herbert. I just don't know if that's going to come, anytime soon. But honestly, if you got either of them, I'd be happy. If you need to only have one, I'd go Herbert. You probably got both. And I think having both is a good idea if you've downgraded well. But if you already have both and you need to go another one, there is two options in Sam Swadling and Bo Adensall. I think they're both going to have similar scoring around that sort of 60 average. Um, they're both just a little bit of an inflated price. I think if you've already got both of Herbert and Fitzgerald and you want to have another one, I'd be going on a bloke playing his debut game this week for the West Coast Eagles, Oliver Franku. So there's nothing more certain in life than these things: death, taxes, and then if you play good in the waffle, you play good in the AFL. It is the easiest, well, no, it is the most clear proving ground. I think if you play good in the waffle, you play good in the AFL. And he was dominating in the sandful, dominating in the waffle, and now I think he's going to be a very good player in the AFL. I spoke about it in our last live stream with Dibbles. I said, keep your eye out for Oliver Franku. If he plays, I think he'll do 80 plus. Now that he's actually playing, I've got to put my money where my mouth is. Do I feel like he's going to average 80? Maybe not. But let's just back it in. Oliver Franku to the moon. I think he's going to average 80. What is also going to be really frustrating because I'm not going to have him, and I feel like there's going to be people going him and using him as cover, and they're going to be scoring just as well as and he's going to be scoring just as well as my premiums, and that's going to piss me off. But yeah, if you're going to look for a third midfield rookie, Oliver Franku's your man. I also think there's another guy playing for the GWS this week, who I really like and has been doing really good in the VFL. How do you think you say that name? This is a commentator's absolute nightmare, but it is Jack Owl, and he's a gun. So if you need to go another one, I don't know why you would need another one, but if you do, he's also going to be a really good scorer. I think his job security might not be as good as the other three. And his price is a little inflated as well, so I'd be definitely going Franku. But yeah, Jack Owl, why not jump on him? Yeah. When I said jump on him, I was like, did that sound a bit weird with the name? But yeah, let's move on. The trade-ins. So this is where I want to talk about a little bit of strategy stuff. So the most popular trade-ins this week, I feel like, revolving around our backline with the Sinclair injury, or you're probably bringing in a forward to sort of complete your team. It seems like if people are going in defense, they're going Naz, right? So Naz is the most popular trade-in. I think he's a great option. I think that's pretty clear. I don't have to talk about that too much. He's also a good captaincy option in a few games coming home. So I think that's nice. If I had to pick between Naz and Holmes and you can only get one, I think you should have both. But if you can't and you only can get one, I think Max Holmes is the guy. I think he's going to score better from here till the end of the season. But I think you should have both. And Naz is just as good and could do more than Holmes. It's a very, this is just a minor opinion that doesn't really matter that much because I think the points are going to be very sort of minuscule between the two. But personally, I think Max Holmes is the better option. But I'm having both. And so if you're not going the top guys, if you're not going Holmes or Malera, I think a really good option is Cal Wilkie. I think he's the best value option of the week at 450. I think he's better than Rowan Marshall. I think he's better than Sam Durham. I think he's going to average 105. He's durable, and with low trades, that's so important. He plays 100% game time, basically. I think he's a gun option. So Cal Wilkie, I'd be going all over. I will talk about a few of the other defenders as well. One that I think is sort of, I think all these guys are pretty good. There's so many good options in the back line. Ash, Whitfield, Noble's going to be really cheap soon. But I also think if you're going to go him now, I think that's also good because if you're completing your team, the money doesn't really matter. Just go John Noble. One that's really surprised me, and even on a go for the Dogs, I wasn't really high on him, but suss out Bailey Dale's last since round 6: 101, 113, 141, 128, 141, 97, 106, 122, 67 down week, and 109 straight back to it. That's unreal. If I had the money, I think that's where I'd be going. You know, I think Nas is the better option, but at 530k, if you can afford him, and you need to bring in two defenders, and you're bringing in Nas, and you got enough money to not go Wilkie and go Bailey Dale. Not bad. I think that's not a bad option. He's in less than 10% of teams as well. I think that's a really good pick. Even down, like, all of these guys are really, really solid in defense. I think Sicily's a good option. Can be a bit stupid with suspension and stuff like that, but I think defenders, you can take a risk on their durability, possibly Stuff like suspension, probably even more so because we've probably got good cover with Hawker Hahn. You're probably going to have Artemis. There's been Dirksen, who's been really good. Edwards from Sydney. You've got Anand. So there's a fair few options in defence to at least have cover if someone gets rubbed out for a week. So down to guys like Josh Dacos, Jordan Clark. You could take a risk on those guys. Darcy Wilmot, I think, is decent at the price. Tom McCarthy, if you like him. Tom Stewart, Dan Houston. There's heaps of good options in defence. So, yeah, I don't think you can probably find a decent option in defence from sort of 400k up. So, yeah, any of those guys I think is a good option, but obviously those are the most traded in that we spoke about. In the forward line, it's a little bit different. So, people are definitely shopping in the bargain bin. So the most traded in players in the forward line are Durham, um, Marshall, Rowan Marshall, and Chad Warner. I'll speak about each of them. So Marshall with TDK going down and now Dodson going out of the squad, basically leaves Marshall to solo ruck. I love it. I think this is 105 plus. I need to figure out if it's worth the trades. I don't know if it's worth the trades. But I really, really like the role and I really like Rowan Marshall. So I'm probably going to bring, you know what's better than two ruckman? Three. Even better than three is four. And if I could get Bailey Williams in the ruck forward position as well, I'd get him to. They're just so good for Supercoach and it just raises his floor so much. And getting a guy that can average 105 in the forward line is gold. So I really, really like that as an option. I was wrong about Durham. Honestly, like I just did not see. Mind you, 1 week doesn't make him a good trade. I understand he's got 122, and that is great, but it doesn't make him a good trade in if he doesn't continue that. But the role's there. I think he's good. I think he's good. I definitely got that one wrong. So hats off to everyone that went Durham. Unreal. At this stage of the season, you need to kind of be addressing what your needs are. What I think it's good to have a few trades. If you have 23 players, 23 primos, you've got a full primo side. I don't think it's that bad to have one trade because basically you can, if a guy gets injured for 1, 2 weeks, you can just tank that position. A lot of teams are tanking your position anyway. So you can save your trade and just tank a position, or get real aggressive and just trade out straight away and then just pray after that. And or you can employ that tactic to tank after that if you've already made your last trade. If I think it's really risky if you're going to tank a position and go down to zero trades, then you're in strife. So I would rather, oh, that's hard. Just be mindful that if you're not going to get to a full premium side, I think I'd prioritize holding on to some trades. Maybe use a rookie, pick the best rookie that you got and tank that position, or the one that has the least amount of difference between the rookie and the premium that you're going to bring in. So um, make sure you look at your goals. I think if you're going to bring in either one of Durham or Marshall this week, if you're going to bring in both of them over time, if you know, like, I'm going to have to get two forwards, I need to bring in these two guys, go Durham. His break even's lower. Marshall's not going to get away from you with 115 average. Just go Marshall the week after. And then you've also got options like Rankin, who's drastically reducing in price. It's very risky, especially low trades. We just don't have, you know, trades to be blowing on guys like that who are very, very injury prone. But, he is very cheap and has the capability of scoring really well. You've also got Thilthorpe around that range. So, yeah, I'd be having to think about that. You know who I really like the game of? I really like the game of Jack Ross last week. So if you're going to shop for another premium, I think he's also good. And the one that's really popular this week is Chad Warner, and I can see the attraction there. Honestly, I think he's going to tear up the Bulldogs. I don't know what he's previously scored against us, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be bloody high because whenever I watch him play, he seems to destroy us. So 104, 96, 144. I feel like if he scores any of those scores, you'd be happy tonight. So yeah, I see this as a good pick. I think he'll go close to 130 tonight. Honestly, I think he'll destroy us. Any player against the Bulldogs that has a little bit extra pace seems to really, really take advantage of our slowish midfield. So yeah, I like Chad Warner. I think his teammate might be a pretty good. There's probably a couple of his teammates that are good. He's a good vice captaincy option as well. And we'll get stuck into our captains a little bit later. But at least we had a look at our main trade-ins. For me, the most important thing is assessing your goal. Are you going to get to full premium and have some trades left over? Are you going to get to tank one position, have trades over, or are you just going to go all out, no trades, either full premium or tanking one position? I think having some trades, at least one, if you're full primo, and I think if you're going to tank a position, try to keep two. If it's unavoidable, it's unavoidable. You got to do what you got to do. But I think that's probably the most ideal. All right. And you know what I was saying, and I've been talking about this about the three rucks. I told you not to stress. It's all good. The other ruckman will eventually fall off. It's the same with Jackson. Don't worry. Something will happen. Darcy will piss off. Sean Darcy will piss off soon. Or just Jackson will ruck so much that it doesn't really matter. Um, I think, and Grundy, obviously he's going to be solo rucking with Laddams out. Gorn's back to being solo ruck. Cherry's back in. Cherry will score fine. I'm still confident with Cherry, even though I don't own him. I think he's a good own. Honestly, I just think the ruckmen are the least of our worries. Like, just don't worry. Like, I know they get picked with another ruckman, and you think their role is going to reduce, but something just happened. For some reason, it just works out that the ruckmen score well. So, and that's probably why I'm going to go Rowan Marshall. I'm not normally tempted by those mid-price guys, especially at this stage of the season. And I'm fighting with, I'm honestly 50-50 on whether or not I bring him in, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to decide over the weekend because it'd be a straight swap. I'll talk about it later in my trades anyway. But let's get into the skippers. Now I'm just gonna sit on the fence here. Bad. Well, it's probably not great because like I should be putting my balls on the line here and actually making a decision. But there's so many good captaincy options this week, and I just don't feel like there's a clear yep screams to me. Yep, he's the dude. I'm still fighting with who I'm gonna go as well, and I've got 15 minutes before the bounce. But for me, it's these five guys are the best, and they're all equal A's. I think they're all great options. I just don't think there's no superb option. Like there was no clear one for me last week. Dacos was clear. Obviously, players ended up scoring more than him, but to me, it was just like Dacos against Richmond. I think it was. Yeah. For me, I'm going to go back to that same theory. I just think Richmond are that bad. It's getting to the point you just pick the best player that plays against Richmond, and I think Walsh is really going to take advantage of that matchup. Richmond suck, man. Like watching there are some games at the moment and some teams that I watch. I'm just like, what the like, and it's not all their fault. Like they've had a lot of injuries, but they're rough to watch, man. They're really, really hard to watch for me. And I just think whoever plays against them, their best midfielder is just going to take them to shreds. They just don't. The accountability, the defensive midfielders don't really. They've got a lot of kids through there that just want to get a touch right. And I understand that, but man, they're going to get torn up by Sam Walsh, I reckon. So I'm putting him as my top choice. What's going to hurt me if he does that? Then I think Heaney against the Dogs because I've seen every week this year the best player in the other team do whatever they want against the Bulldogs. What I was surprised that Ross Lyon played Naz out of the back line and just wasted all those touches. Heaney the week before, well, we've played against Heaney earlier in the set. No, we didn't. Sorry, Dawson. Dawson before that went absolutely bonkers. I think he kicked 4 goals in the first quarter. Did whatever he wanted, 30 plus, playing forward, 4 goals, took the game away for us. And then for some reason, Ross has gone, you know what, we'll do that. But no, you play out of the back line, so your kicks don't matter. If he played forward line, he would have kicked 4 goals, I reckon. If he played more forward of the ball. Heaney, I'll tell you right now, he ain't going off half back. He's going for maximum damage, and he is going to do maximum damage against the Bulldogs. I just know it. Warner's a good option. I think Grundy's a good option. Sydney's a good option. So I think Heaney, for me, unfortunately, I don't have him either. He's going to go really well. Sheasel, I think a Sheasel against Port, he's just going to rack him up. Sheasel's last month has been incredible. Let's have a look anyway. So he scores really well against Port, 134, 135, 119 in his last 3 games. And then his last 3 games, just of the season, 142, 153, 175. Are you kidding? Has to be in there. Has to be in there. Probably could be an A plus. I think Gorn against a depleted Hawthorn ruck down at Launceston makes me a little nervous, but it's very hard to, with the skinny wings, if he parks himself on the wing, it's very hard to avoid him and kick around him. So I think a lot of balls are just going to get kicked straight to him. And earlier in the year, Hawthorn just kicked it to him over and over. And that was against the double ruck, and he took them to town. So I think he might destroy Lloyd Meek, to be honest. I don't think he's going to be able to match him in centre bounce. And then around the ground, I think Gorn's just like, this is the ruckman of our generation. I've spoken about that. Like, don't underestimate the man. He's a Supercoach beast. So Max Gorn, I think, is a really strong option. And then Naz for me. Naz against Essendon. Do I need to say there is a team worse than Richmond? Believe it or not. When I was watching, I actually had to check this. Because I don't know what's going on the ladder and stuff. I don't follow that closely. Um, but I was having a look at the ladder. I'm like, okay, Richmond's on bottom, and then I see, oh no, it's still going. The ladder's still going. There's a team worse than this. Yes, I don't know how, but so Naz just has to be a pick, right? It's Naz against Essendon. So probably stiff to not be an A plus as well, to be honest. But heaps of good options this week. I think Butters is a good option. I think Dacos is a good option. I think Luke Jackson's a good option. Like Luke Jackson against GWS and Kieran Briggs. Kidding me? If he didn't have Sean Darcy there, that would be an A plus for me. That would be a clear A plus. But I think they're going to actually just give Jackson a bit of chill time. It's a 120. It's an easy 120 with him playing forward. But I think they're just going to be like, go kick back on the forward line for a bit. We'll let Sean Darcy get a bit of ruck time in. Break the wind a little bit and get some match fitness. So I reckon that's what might happen in that game. I still think Jackson will score fine though, and if he does more rocking, then I think he could go astronomical in that game. Anyway, let's have a look at the squad. This is what my team has done this week. So I've made the one trade so far. We've done what we planned. Dirksen to Naz. I love it. I love Naz. He's a beast. And Dirksen's done really well for us and from the territory as well. So I love seeing that. And I really hope the best for Wade Dirksen. I hope he looks good. To be honest, I think he needs to start getting his flowers a little bit more. I think people sort of downplay the role that he's playing for Carlton at the moment. I know Wiedering obviously is a superstar and going to be coming back into the side, but yeah, I wouldn't be sleeping on what that young backline has been able to do. Obviously a lot of the plaudits go to Harry Dean, and he's unbelievable. But for me, Dirksen's been also really good. So, mate, if you want to go to the Bulldogs, we'll have you because our backline sucks. Um, I don't even know where I was. Been a long week. Been a long week, guys. Naz, um, for me, coming into the side is a no-brainer for Dirksen. So the other trade I'm considering is Miller to Marshall, but at this stage I haven't done it. I'm probably leaning towards keeping Miller and having two trades rather than having Marshall and having one trade, just because I don't think it's going to get me that many points. But also, if I'm chasing the thing, if I'm chasing the highest rank I can get, sometimes you just got to go for it. And I feel like the ceiling could be there to risk it. I think if it doesn't pay off, I basically just break even. So should I do it? It is one trade though, and late in the season, if there's injuries, you got to weigh that up. But this is how my team's going to line up: Naz, Max Holmes, Lockie Ash, Lockie Whitfield, Luke Parker, Josh Worrell, and then we got bench cover in Hawker Han and Anand. And we've already had the game as well. So Holmes has scored 114. What's nice. I got Butters, Bailey Smith, who scored 125. What's good. Nick Dacos, Bontempelli, George Hewitt, my boy, against Richmond. Let's go. Should score 200. Clayton Oliver, Ed Richards. And then I decided to loop Lockie Neal. And at one stage when he went off for the HIA, I was like, I'll just put off a masterstroke here. He scored 109. So I just looped him back on. So it's all good. No need to stress. But at one stage, I was like, fuck, like I've avoided a bomb here. Like I'm going to be able to play because I think he was on about 40 or 30 at the time. Actually, not even. I think he was on 25. So I was like, thank God I've avoided that. I can bring on Herbert. I can bring on Fitzgerald, whoever I sort of decide to go with. But he ended up getting to 109 even with that HIO. So yeah, I'm taking that obviously over going one of the rookies. I've gone Jackson. I've got the VC on him at this stage, but honestly, I'm undecided. I could still go with Grundy. I've got 15 minutes until the start of the bounce, so who knows? I might just have a little bit of a fucking meltdown and just chuck it on Grundy. The thing is with Grundy against English, I just feel like English to me, and I love Tim English. We need you, but when there's a niggle, he just doesn't seem to want to play. He doesn't push through the niggles very well, old Timmy. So I think Grundy might, and Grundy destroys Ruckman, man. When he gets on top of them, he just destroys teams. And at the SCG, I just think if he gets on top of Tim, I don't think Tim's going to want to turn it around. We got no one else. We played Bontempelli and Kennedy in the ruck. If we decide to do that, forget about it. Carney White on the bench. My forward line: Sheasel, Horn Francis, Reed, Pickett, Pachaka, and Tuke Miller. If anyone wants Tuke Miller, they can take it off me. They can take him off me. Packet of chips, half even packet of chips, and a mouldy sandwich. You can have him. I'll give him away. This guy's frustrating the shit out of me. The only reason I think he'll score well against Collingwood. This is my call of the week. Tuke Miller will turn up this week, right? And I'm still not going to be happy. because it's going to make me keep him. And then I know he's going to let me down again. And I should have just gone Rowan Marshall. I don't know. I just feel like it's going to piss me off to know. I'll go Rowan Marshall and Took and trade out Took, and they'll score so similar this week, and I'll be like, that won't be worth it. But I think in the long run, it will be. So I just don't know where I'm going to go with that. Banfield and Pahadsky not playing on the bench, and then Max gone in the flex. So that's how we'll line up. My predicted after the first game is 2,616. Someone offered it to me now to take that. I'd take it. I would. I think my team's been overly projected, but as it is with projections, they're not the greatest sort of guide there is in the world. Anyway, guys, that's the round 17 preview. Like I said, if you can, subscribe, like, comment. I love all that stuff. Let me know how your teams are going. I really need help. I need help off you guys. You tell me, should I be going Marshall over Miller and go down to one trade or keep the two trades? Is it really going to matter? My team's full premium now. Should I even bother doing it and just keep two trades for injuries? Or should I actually, just go all out and just bring in Rowan Marshall? What are you guys doing? Let me know in the comments. If you want to chat to me and ask me questions even further, remember 10 a.m. Sunday live stream. I'm holding down the fort for Dibbles. So make sure you join me. Otherwise, I'm going to be sitting there all by myself, drinking coffee, having breakfast, talking to no one. So it would be great to see you guys there. It's been a long week, guys. It's been huge. I'm happy that this video is done now and I've got this out to you guys, and hopefully it gives you some going into the weekend. We're chasing the top 200. Hopefully all your teams go up in rank. And I think that's going to be it, guys. All right, I'll catch you guys later and enjoy the footy. And go to Socceroos as well. Make sure you get out. The pubs are open till they're serving alcohol all night. I'm not going because I'm absolutely wrecked, but I'll get up and watch it in bed. But get out and about and go to Socceroos, all right? I'll catch you guys 10 a.m. on Sunday for the live stream. See you.